श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति. So yesterday we saw any philosophical discussion is based on these three questions. The first one is what is the cause for the creation? The second one is how did this creation come from that cause? The third is how to understand that cause. Okay. So based on this third question, the methodologies to understand is what is going to be explained here. But before that, we may have some preconceptions about the cause. So Devi Bhairavi here presents some 8 different causes which she knows from the other texts, the other agamas. So to remove our doubts, there is no Bhairavi apart from Bhairava. We already saw that Shiva himself is presenting himself as Shakti for the conversation to happen, to bless us, to shower his grace on us, right? So here the other the ideas from other tantras are presented, and Devi is asking, is this the truth, or is that the truth, or is that the truth, or is that the truth? There are 8 different truths which she understood from other texts. She is presenting. First one is Shabda Rashi Maya. Okay, so Shiva, after listening to that, he negates all that and he presents in 14th and 15th shloka something. He negates all whatever she said and he presents what the truth is. Okay, now Shabda Rashi Maya. What is the doubt? First doubt is Shabda Rashi Maya, group of sounds, words, characters. This is from Kulatarshana Tantra, some Kaula Tantra. Okay, now there Anuttara is a term for akara. Okay, now that is called as akula, and visarga, the 2 dots next to when you say aha, right? So the 2 dots, that half matra is what is called as Shakti. Okay, is Shiva, 1 matra, and visarga is Shakti, Kauliki they call it. Okay, so now with respect to that, he says that akula is Shabda Brahman, that is Shabda Brahman. That is the idea, Shabda Brahman. Okay, now this Shabda Brahman exists in different stages of para, pashyanti, madhyama, vaikhari. Any word, any character, they are in these 4 stages: para, pashyanti, madhyama, vaikhari. So much of thought has gone into these kind of things in Indian tradition. We'll understand this para, pashyanti, vaikhari, madhyama and vaikhari. We'll understand this for later. Okay, now later today. Okay, we'll understand it later today. Now just understand there are these 4 stages of a character. Now is this because this is that which illumines all the words. Shiva is the one who, because Shiva exists in the form of Bhairava, exists in the form of a Shabdartha, the word and the meaning. Okay, now second, Navatma, the 9th type. The 9th type means there are 8 Brahmi etc. deities, and inside them is the 9th one, the indweller in all these 8. So is that the truth? This is from Netra Tantra, some text called Netra Tantra, another Tantra. Okay, basically Netra Tantra, Swachhanda Tantra, these are the texts which are brought in here as Pramanas. Trishiro Bhairava, or is it Trishiro Bhairava? A Bhairava with 3 heads kind of. So that's another Tantra, Trishiro Tantra. Okay, then Shakti Trayatmaka. 4th is Shakti Trayatmaka. 3 kinds of Shakti. 3 kinds of Shakti means not Shiva, Parvati, Lakshmi and Saraswati. Not that. Here it is a para, and apara, or Nara, Shakti and Shiva. This is what we saw in the first class as a Pashu, Pati, Pasha. In South Indian Shaiva tradition, we say Pashu, Pati, Pasha. Pashu means Jiva, Pati means Ishvara, Pasha means the bondage, Shakti. Okay, so Nara, Shiva and Shakti. Simple. Next, Nada Bindu. in the form of Nada and Bindu. Nada and Bindu is Nada is Shiva and Bindu is Shakti. Okay, Shakti Shiva Shakti Swarupa. Now, the Shiva Shakti Swarupa also there is a special thing which is explained, which is a Shakti Shakti Matora Bhedat. It's a common rule in Vedanta and here. The power and the wielder of power or the one which has the power is not seen to be different. Fire and the power of fire is not seen to be different. Similarly here, Shiva and Shakti are not different. Okay. Now, then the sixth one is Prana Kalamayam. Pranava Kalamayam. Pranava, of the nature of Pranava. Okay, of the nature of Pranava means the Ardhamatra, Nirodhika, etc., which is it's from Swachanta Tantra or Neta Tantra, etc. text. So here we discuss the Soham Bhavana. We'll come to the Soham Bhavana. It's an important Bhavana, Soham Bhavana. Soham Bhavana means simply Saha Aham. Simply put, Saha Aham. I am that. That is the Bhavana. But it is not related to the idea of I am that. The idea of I am that becomes Pratyabhijna. We are not talking about Pratyabhijna, remembrance. We are talking about a Bhavana, a meditation technique. So this Soha is related to Pranava. So Prana. We'll come to that later. Okay. Now, next is Chakrarudha. Chakrarudha means, normally Chakrarudha means it is a form of the Shri Yantra where the deity, Devi is on top of that or on the center of that Yantra. We are not talking about that. We are talking about Chakrarudha means the one who is established in the chakras, the 7 chakras. Normally, why I said 7 chakras is we know the Kundalini chakra to be 7 chakra, Mooladhara, etc. So we are not talking about the 7 chakras, but we are talking about 12 chakras. In Rudrayamala Tantra, he speaks about 9 chakras. We know 7 chakras. In between the 6th and 7th, he talks about the Soma Suryatmaka, Soma Chakra and Surya Chakra. Okay. Now, here he talks about 12 chakras. 12 chakras with respect to the 12 vowels. 12 vowels and diphthongs. Okay. Now, when you stand, we have etc. This is accepted to be Namsaka, neuter gender characters. So we are taking it away. If you take it away, then we have only 12. Instead of 16 or 15, we have only 12 characters. So a, I, u, r, r, A, I, O, Au, Ah. 12 characters, right? So, the meditation on that is explained. Then, 8th one, the final one is a Shakti Swarupa, of the nature of Shakti. The Shakti is Para, etc., that Shakti. Now, with respect to that, there is a question. Devi raises. I understand, but there is a problem with this. Is this Para Sakala or Nishkala? Sakala means with Kala, with limbs. Nishkala means without limbs. Meaning with form, without form. Is this Para, is this Shakti, is this Devi with forms or without forms? Of course, we are talking about Shiva or Devi. It's with forms. If it is with forms, it cannot be the absolute. Para means absolute. It cannot be absolute. The absoluteness gets lost. Oh, it's not of form. Oh, if it is not of form, if it is Nishkala, then there is another problem. You cannot meditate. How can you meditate on something without form? Okay, so this is the doubt she presents. Beautifully, in the 9th sloka, Shiva Bhairava answers that though it is in reality Nishkala, without form, for the sake of ignorant, for sake of blessing them, we said Anugraha, Nigraha, 2 extra activities of Ishvara. Anugraha, Nigraha. Nigraha means prevention. Anugraha means taking them under his wings. Under his wings. So, showering his grace. So, preventing him from doing wrong things and putting him in right path, by showering his grace. That is Anugraha, Nigraha. Nigraha and Anugraha. So for doing that, he takes the form. Though he is formless, he takes as though takes form. Okay, no, that is said. Now then the creation is accepted as vimarsha, expansion of that power, and only through that, only through the shakti you can understand the Shiva. That is how it is understand, because it is explained. Shakti is upaya, means to understand Shiva, means shakti is this expansion. Guru is also in this realm, right? So that expansion, so he guru or the agama or the logic, etc., they are all in this realm. So through that only you can understand Shiva. That is what is established there. Now the 112 upayas starts from here, from the 15th 16th shloka. 112 upayas. The term used here is upaya, means methods, but normally it is interpreted as dharana. Okay, it is interpreted as dharana. In reality, what it is a nistaranga upadesha. What is upaya? Nistaranga upadesha, a teaching for staying without thoughts. Taranga means waves, thoughts. Nistaranga, thoughtless. So a state of being mindlessness, the mindlessness state or the thoughtless state. That is what these methods take you to. Okay, which is a samadhi. They call it samavesha. Okay, now what is dharana? Upaya, we said dharana. What is dharana? Dharana is established in Yoga Sutras. Desha bandhas chittasya dharana. Desha bandha chittasya dharana. Desha means a state, a place. Bandha, binding. Binding your chitta, mind, in a place is called as dharana. Chittasya desha bandha. Binding your mind in a particular place, thing, time, object, etc., is called as dharana. Now it is better explained in another text, which is quoted in another text, which is a Sarvadarshana Sangraha. In Sarvadarshana Sangraha, he says, Nabhi Chakra Hriday Mundariga Nasagrado Adhyatmike Hiranyagarbha Vasava Prajapati Pravritike Vakyevadeshe Chittasya Vishayantara Pariharena Sthirigaranam Dharana. In the Adhyatmika, in the body, whether it's the navel chakra or the heart, the lotus of the heart, or the tip of the nose, these places, or externally you can meditate on Vasava, Indra, or Prajapati, the creator, any of these Ishwaras, Godheads. So meditating internally or externally, placing your mind without it getting disturbed through any other thought, that is called as dharana. Okay, now here I explained in the first class, in the introduction first class, I explained that Yoga Sutra accepts 8 limbs, and here we accept 6 limbs. That does not mean we don't need the yama, niyama, etc., because if you don't have the prerequisites, proper attitude, etc., you are not even given the teaching. That is why it is said, I quoted this, Pranavi Pradatavya. To protect this teaching, you should even give up your life. That is how serious they were with respect to this. So apart from the niyama, niyama, asana, even asana, the other 5 limbs which we have, that is taken, and we add one more limb to that. What is that? See, yama, niyama, asana, leave that. Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. These are the 5 limbs. Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So we have Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana. Instead of Samadhi, in between we have Tarka and Samadhi. Anusmriti or Tarka and Samadhi. Either it is called as Anusmriti or Tarka, logic. Okay, logic is an important tool. How can this logic, you can bring in logic in after Dharana and Dhyana? Definitely. That is why in yoga you see Vitarkanugata, Vicharanugata Samadhi. And Vitarkanugata is Savitarka Samadhi, Nirvitarka Samadhi, Savichara Samadhi, Nirvichara Samadhi, etc. comes In the Samaji, you have to have logic to gain that there. Okay. Now, okay, these are the means. Who is the person who practices these means? Okay, anyone can practice any means? No. There are gradations of people who can practice these. See, there may be similar upasanas, like in 25 there is one, and in 57 there is another. Okay, when you see 57 and 25, they look similar, but they are not similar. This is also prana, that is also prana. What is not similar? The thing is, who is eligible for practicing this? It depends on that. The eligible seeker is categorized in three forms. It is Anava, Shakta, Shambhava. Anava, Shakta, and Shambhava. Okay. From the lower strata, Anava, then higher level is Shakta. The highest level is Shambhava Upaya. Okay. Now, in Shiva Sutra, these three upayas are, that is three chapters of Shiva Sutra. Shambhava Upaya, the eligible seeker, highest eligible seeker is first taken. And next is a Shakta Upaya. The third is Ana Upaya. No, that is top-down approach. We are not going to go through top-down approach. We'll go to the bottom-up approach. The thing is, what is this? Why is this gradation? It is according to the Shakti Pata, the power of Shakti Pata. Shakti Pata, Shakti means the power. Pata means falling, power transference. When the Guru gives a mantra or Upadesha, a teaching, there is a power transference. The strength of the power transference depends upon the eligibility of the disciple. Oh, I now understand. That is why Guruji, when that he teaches to that person takes more of it, and I absorb less of it. There is more transference. Don't bring in any of these ideas. No Guru categorizes disciple. There is no gradation in the Guru's view. Guru gives the same knowledge to everyone. According to the eligibility of our mind, we conceive it, we understand it. Like there is a waterfall. Now, if you put a pot upside down, a vessel upside down, it is never going to get filled. If the vessel is put in proper place and proper position, but the problem is the vessel's mouth is very small, then it is going to take a lot of time. If the vessel's mouth is big, but still there is a hole, it is never going to get filled up. If the vessel's mouth is big and it is small, vessel is small, it is going to fill very early, and if it is a bigger vessel, it is going to take a lot of time, right? So it all depends upon what kind of mental ability, the surrender you have. Okay, so that decides the Shakti Pata, the power transference. Okay, now what is this Anava Upaya, etc.? These are three levels: Anava, Shakta, Shambhava. Anava, Ana, Ana. Anu means it comes from the word Anu. Anu means atom, small. Okay, so a very small effort. Small person through small means trying to achieve bigger things. The Pramata knower is small, a Jiva, and his means is intellect is small, limited. He is trying to understand the truth, which is big, unlimited. So he uses some props to understand this. They are categorized as a Uchara, Karana, Varna, Sthana, and Dhyana. Okay. For our understanding purpose, we'll reorganize this. It is normally said in this order: Uchara, Karana, Dhyana, Varna, Sthana. We'll reorganize this in a different order. Sthana. Sthana means external aids for focusing the mind, like the form of object, the form of the deity, photo of deity, the yantra of a deity, the mantra of a deity, the mandala of the deity, etc. All these are external things. It is called a sthana. Okay. Then after sthana, you have to come to the karana. Karana means the position of body, how you sit and all that. The asana, that is karana. Okay. Then you are going to chant or pronounce something, that is uchara. Uchara means pronunciation means a sthula prana vyapara. It's a transaction of a gross prana. Subtle prana transaction is a varna, and the mental transaction is a dhyana. Okay. External sthana, body karana, prana, gross prana, uchara, subtle prana, varna, mental transaction is vyapara. Mental transaction is dhyana. Okay. These are the aids for practicing, for bringing the mind under control. Okay. We'll use all this. Now, this is explained in many of the tantras. Okay. Generally, this is what is explained in other tantras. Now, we come to the next upaya called Shakta upaya. See, if you want to understand these three upayas, Anava, Shakta, Shambhava. Simple. There are three Shaktis: Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti. So the Ana Upaya is Kriya Shakti, activity based. Shakta Upaya is Jnana Shakti, and Shambhava Upaya is Ichha Shakti. Okay. Now I'll understand. Activity based, you understand, right? Now, next is Shakta Upaya. Shakta Upaya is Jnana Upaya. Okay, knowledge based. Now, whatever you used, the Uchara, the Varna, Sthana, Karana, etc., all that, you are going to use the same thing. But instead of having it externally, you are going to place it internally. All that is used as a mental practice, meaning internally. Subtle. It's called as upasana in Vedanta. So when you are going to do upasana of that as a mental practice, all this, using all this, then that is what is called as a Shakta upaya. Simple. Now, here again, you have to understand, he has an understanding that there is nothing other than, everything is of the nature of Shuddha Atma Swarupa, Shiva Tattva. There is nothing other than that. He understands that. He does not have the immediate knowledge, but he has immediate knowledge of that. So, and he uses the tarka, the logic, to understand that. How does he understand the logic? Where do you get that logic from? From the Sadagama. So, Sadguru, Sadagama, Sattarka. That is the order. Sadguru. Because Guru is important in all these upayas. Guru is important. It is said in Shakta Upaya of Shiva Sutra, Guru Upaya. Guru is the means. So, from the Guru, you understand the Agama. From the Agama, you gain the logic, Tarka. Okay? You apply that Tarka to gain this system. This is in the Krama Tantras, the Shakti Puja, etc., the Devi Puja, etc., falls in this category. Okay? Next is Shambhava Upaya. Shambhava Upaya means Shiva Puja falls in this category. No, that is not the idea. Shambhava Upaya is Ichha Upaya, meaning see, in the Ana Upaya and Shakta Upaya, there needs to be an effort, a very strong effort, very little effort, or lesser effort. But here, very little effort, just a desire for getting into Samadhi, he goes into Samadhi. That is this state. He understands that there is no real existence for this world. This Vimarsha, whatever you see, that there does not have any existence. Vishvam Darpana Drishyamana Nagarin, he understands that. So that is, and he understands that the creation, whatever he sees, is nothing other than the Shiva himself. Jagat Shivamayam. That is the idea he gains. So this is Kula Tantra. Okay, Kaula Marga is a very pure Marga, but now whatever happened, so Kula Tantra, that is called as. Okay, now there is another Upaya called Anupaya. That's the fourth Upaya. Normally, everyone falls under these three categories. Very rare souls, they fall in the fourth category called Anupaya. There is an order. First, you have, that is why I presented in this form. Anaupaya, from Anaupaya, you graduate to Shaktopaya, and from Shaktopaya, you graduate to Shambhovapaya. Now, there is fourth Upaya called Anupaya. There is no graduation. There is one Upaya called Anupaya. Upaya is Anupaya. An means a no. Upaya means a means. No means. There is no means. There is no need of any sadhana. That is how people understand. No. Anu Upaya is Anupaya. Anu means afterwards. Afterwards means afterwards. After what? After approaching the Guru, when the Guru just indicates, uses some word, that's good enough for him. He does not need to go through all the training. Just an indication is good enough. A gesture like Chinmudraya, Bhadraya, Chinmudra is good enough. Mauna Vyakhyana is good enough. He does not need all the other teachings. So that is Anupaya. Very little effort. That grace, that's all, over. A touch from the Guru, over. A look from the Guru, over. So he is just on the tip of Samadhi, entering, understanding this. So though we say all that, Shaiva Agama also very clearly explains one thing. Like in the Shiva Sahasranama or Vishnu Sahasranama, we have one word called Aprameya. Prameya means object of knowledge. Aprameya means not an object of knowledge. Shiva, Vishnu, whatever, Ishvara, he is not an object of knowledge. Your direct perception, etc., does not work there. They are beyond the direct perception. The Shiva is that one gives the existence for the direct perception, etc. We saw that. Right? Now, he says, in reality, this is the truth. Upaya jalam na shivam prakashayan. Anupaya is also called as Pratyabhijna. Pratyabhijna means remembrance. He says and he remembers, oh yes, I am Shiva. Over. Right? So, Upaya jalam na shivam prakashayet ghatena kim bhati sahasra diditihi. Upaya jalam na shivam prakashayet. You can have thousands of upayas. Why 102? Thousands of upayas. But the web of upayas means don't illuminate the Shiva. Why not? Can thousands of pot illumine a sun? Can thousands of pot illumine a lamp? No. Lamp or sun illumines the pots. Pot cannot illumine the lamp or sun. Similarly, the practices cannot illumine the Shiva. Shiva illumines all these practices. That is the idea. Which Vivechayan Nityamudara Darshnaha Swayam Prakasham Shivama Visheshanat. Thinking, understanding this person, Udara Darshna means this person with a broad mind, with a broad intellect, with a very sharp intellect. He understands this and he gets established in that Shiva. That is the idea, they say. Now, we saw what are the different kinds of practices, what are not the practices, what are the different kinds of practices, who are the different kind of practitioners. Now, what are the different kind of objects where we have to practice, the adhara, the base for the practice. So some 8 or 9 bases are said here. First is a prana. Prana, the vital air. That is one important place of alambana, we call the object of meditation. Prana is one important alambana of meditation. There we have the ucharana to varna, the subtle prana and gross prana, varna and uchara. So you have to base on that. And then you go beyond that, because there are 4 levels of prana. Remember, 4 levels. What are they? Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. Para is a state where there is no duality. Okay. Pashyanti is complete non-duality. Pashyanti is a state where there is a non-duality of the word and object. Madhyama is a state where there is duality of word and object. Seeming duality. And Vaikhari is a clear established duality between word and object. Bheda. To understand it simply, para is a state without thought. Pashyanti is the seed of thought. Madhyama is a thought function. And Vaikhari is an activity, saying that word. Okay? So, from a subtle state to gross state. And the subtle state is where you see that Soham Bhavana. Another thing I asked you to remember. Soham Bhavana. Soham Bhavana is not, I said, is not I am that idea. It is a meditation on S and H. Sa and Ha. Sa and Ha means it is said in 155 Srishti Samhara Bijam Cha Tasya Mukhyam Vapurviduhu. Srishti and Samhara Bija, Srishti Bija and Samhara Bija, the root, the Bija means the seed. Samham. S is a Srishti Bija and H is a Samhara Bija. Ha. Sa Ha. Meaning when you close your eyes, nose, ears, etc., the eyes, nose, etc. means you are closing all your sense organs. Now you concentrate inside. There is a sound like the hissing of a serpent, a snake, right? Is external, is internal, right? So that is Saha. We'll understand that later. Now, from the subtle to the gross is a Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. Now, if you go in the reverse order, Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, Para, that is Japa. From when you do Japa, you start with a gross pronunciation. Om, 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 Om. This is called as a Uchchaihi. Stula, strong, gross. Then Upamshu, silent. Very mildly. Then you meditate inside. You don't chant it physically. There is only thought function of Om. Then that also does not exist. There is a blankness. Sometimes when we meditate, we go into this blankness. There can be two reasons. We keep our mind silent, it enters the state of a stupor, sleep, or it enters the state of this deep meditation, the thoughtless state. There can be these two reasons for that. Now, after that, there is another strange thing which happens, which is Ajapa Japa, means a state of thoughtless Japa. A Japa, without any effort, the Japa takes place. That is Soham. Your breathing becomes a Japa, kind of. Okay? So we'll understand that later. Now, the third one is Bhavana. Bhavana is explained as Bhavitur, Bhavananukula, Bhavana, Bhavitur, Vyapara, etc. Object of meditation for the person who meditates, a means for that is called as Bhavana in Purvimamsa. Here, simply put, Bhavana means staying put with a word, with a japa, with a mantra, or with an object without getting disturbed by any other thought. That is bhavana here. Okay, intention, meditation. Okay, then fourth is shunya. It's a very interesting thing. Shunya means void. This is not void, meditation on void. That is Buddhist idea. We are not presenting that idea here. Ashunyam shunyam ityuktam. Non-voidness is called as void here. Why should you call non-void as void? Because it is said, what is this non-void and what is this void? Sarva alambana dharmascha sarvatattvaira seshataha sarva kleshai kleshashai shunyah na shunyam paramarthataha. Shunya we say because it is devoid of any objects It is devoid of any substance. It is devoid of any troubles. That is why we call it as Shunya. Absence of objects, absence of substance, and absence of substance and sense of absence of thoughts and absence of trouble. That is why it is called Shunya, absence. In reality, there is no Shunya. There is no void. This void is categorized in 6 ways to meditate upon. I'll just give the name. Urdhva, Adha, Madhya, Vyapini, Samana, Unmana. In these 6 different states, these void is meditate upon. Okay. Now, 5th one is Aparichinna Vishaya. Parichinna means limited. Aparichinna means unlimited. An object which is not limited. Like sitting in front of a ocean, sitting in front of a mountain, sitting in front of a big desert, sitting in front of a vast forest. All these they become object for meditation. Meditating on the vastness. Now, earlier we said meditating on nothingness. Now here we say meditating on vastness. So meditating on that vastness. That is also a process. We'll explain that later. Okay. Now, 6th one is focusing on the sensorial pleasures, sensorial pains. Whatever pleasure or pain you gain through the senses, very strong pleasure or pain, meditate on that. Meaning having carefully watching it, having awareness on that, having consciousness of that is what is called as meditating on that experience. Why it is said? Any strong sensation, a strong sorrow or a strong happiness, your mind becomes blank. Doesn't become numb, it becomes blank. When you are in shock, you don't even have the power to move either your limbs or your mind. Your mind becomes blank, suddenly goes blank. That blank is what you are trying to gain, right? Thoughtlessness. And that is gained naturally. You are not careful enough to catch that, so you lose that. So meditate how to concentrate on that. That is explained. Then mudras, the gestures, that is explained. Meditating on the mudras, the not just the finger position gestures, the bodily gestures also. Then asana, the position in which you are seated, etc. So we'll see all that later. So from tomorrow, from the next class, we will follow the text proper. Now this is the introduction. Okay, we'll see this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.